and welcome to another episode of Curated Wonder, the travel podcast. This is Gilda Nasandas, your host and cultural enthusiast. Joining me today is somebody who is a seasoned digital marketer, an entrepreneur, and a content creator. She's also the co-founder of the award-winning startup Mom Says, and she's been featured on the Forbes 30 Under 30 list in 2019. The amazing, and a friend of mine, Shaney Vijendranath. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here and catch up with you. And congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for doing this with me.
No, you know, when I saw the podcast, I was like, I need to message her. Like, we need to do something.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that because, of course, I've, had my list of things that I would like to discuss and things that I'd like to cover in this first season. So I'm actually very happy that people put up their hands and say, hey, hold on, I want to do something with you. So that's really amazing.
No, and obviously, we're speaking about a topic that I've never really spoke about on a podcast before.
Yes.
So for me, I'm so excited because I feel like I have so much to share.
Because on your social media platforms, there's a hell of a lot of content. So today, what we're talking about is one of Shaney's absolutely favorite things to do, something I've never done before, and that's cruising.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so let's start here, right? So just for some context, Shaney and I have known each other for quite a few years now, ever since I started working at Disney.
Yes.
And she was one of the momfluencers that I was introduced to. At that time, you were still heavy into You, Baby, and I.
Yes, my blog.
Which was your blog. Also award-winning, obviously one of the biggest at the time.
Wow.
It was one of the most popular at the time, if I'm not mistaken. You had and I think that's what sort of kickstarted everything else for you. Honestly.
100%. Yeah. Actually, my journey started after I had my daughter because I got married at 20.
Yes.
Had my daughter 21, very close. And I went through that phase where I lost my friends because I was so young, married, pregnant. Obviously, my friends were in university, they were studying and partying, and we were just not in the same phases in our life. I became very lonely because I didn't know who to talk about pregnancy and stuff. And then I realized that there's vloggers on YouTube. Yeah. And that was my first introduction into the world of like content creation and mommy influencers, Yes. I started following a few and I was like, it'd be quite cool to actually connect with South African mommies. Yes. And I always loved writing. Like, I feel like whatever I do, wherever I work at, I'm a storyteller, right? That loves building communities. And for me, that was like the starting point. Let me start my own diary series online. Yeah. Just to share being a young mom, the phases of motherhood, the lonely journey that you go as a first-time mom. And that's how You, Baby, and I was actually born. It was just so random. I didn't know what I was getting myself into because I didn't know there was even a blogging world per se, and then I realized, there's actually other South African bloggers and there's a community. And things just kind of happened from there. A year later, I was like, whoa, I'm working with brands. Yeah. I have a community and, people get excited when we do lives together, etc. So it's a very interesting journey, how I started in the industry, not knowing what I was getting myself into, but I absolutely love it. Like, it's been my daughter's 13.
What?
She turned 13 in August.
Gosh.
So you can tell, I've been in the industry for over 13 years.
Wow. So
long time.
So that's why I say that's quite the journey, and that's what sort of kickstarted everything. And just to your point, you're still a storyteller. You're still somebody who's engaging with audiences just in a different way. So then this sort of leads me to the question is, so that's where the start was. It was this mommy blogger, it was that, and then now you're this plug on social media for lifestyle, food, travel, that's the vibe. So obviously, we all have to evolve. Why the pivot specifically into this kind of content?
Quite interesting, though. My blog is still active, but I mean, in the early days when my kids were much younger, I always wanted to do travel. Okay. I always wanted to focus on travel content, but I think at that point I was so scared because I was doing so well as a mommy influencer creator. I was scared to take that step and introduce something new. Yeah. And as my kids gotten older, I realized that they don't have fun anymore creating content. They don't want to unbox stuff.
Oh.
My boys were like a bit camera shy. They didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, okay, you know, things are changing. I can't force my kids to be in front of the camera. My story is going to change as they get older. And for me, it was like, what's my passion when I'm not being a mom or, you know, not being a partner? What do I love doing? And for me, it's always been good food and travel. You know, I've traveled overseas and I would make sure I go to the fancy 5-star Michelin star restaurants because that's what excited me.
Yeah.
Is having food experiences or visiting places that people won't typically visit, you know. You know, when you go to New York, everyone looks at all the touristy spots.
Yes.
I looked for the places that people don't typically visit because I wanted to experience it my way.
Yeah.
And I realized that that's my story, you know, outside being a mom or a partner. And I just wanted to have an outlet.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know how in the beginning to do that, to transition. It was quite difficult for me. But then one day I woke up and I was like, you know what? Let me just put it out there. Yeah. And if no one listens or no one watches, it's fine. But I will go back and watch it. Yes. You know, it's my memories and it's my online diary. And that's where it kind of started.
And that's where it is. And so your TikTok community has grown quite nicely because of that kind of content. Okay, well, that's great. Well, we're going to obviously link all of your handles, across all of the platforms in this video, so then people can follow you and find out, you know, like I think everything about cruising, I have sort of experienced through all of your content.
Oh wow!
Because I'm very hesitant to cruise because I don't know if I'm going to be sick on board, and you know, there's also ashamed to say, but I'm not a good swimmer. Like I'm just like, if something happens, like
let me tell you a fun fact: I can't swim, Gilda.
I'm so like.
I can't swim.
Right, okay.
I have a fear of being underwater.
Yes, same. It's like, I can float. I'll probably survive for a few minutes. And then what happens after that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting part, right? Because obviously now we've watched movies like Titanic.
This is the problem.
And we're all thinking of the worst.
Yes.
But it's so different in reality, you know, and they do have that safety checks and they tell you what to do in case of emergency. And I've been on several cruises.
Yes.
Never had a near-death experience on any
negative experience.
No.
Okay, so tell me about your very first cruise, right? Who did you go with? How long was it? Where did you go? Was it one of those cruises to nowhere? Was it Portuguese islands? Tell us about that very first time.
So it was actually just before I had my daughter, before I found out I was pregnant, after I got married.
Right.
And so my partner was like, let's do a cruise. So I was like, okay. But you know, you like kind of have that perception of like cruises are for the older folks, you know, the retired folks that have all the time in the world.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let's do it. But I also, just like you, I was like, I can't swim. Like, I'm scared of that. And it's like, no, it's going to be cool. So anyway, I went to Durban. We took the cruise to Mozambique.
Okay.
Portuguese island. And it was a very weird experience because I didn't know what to expect. Yeah. And then I got on board and I was like, okay, cool. The vibes are nice. Yeah. But I was still in a bit of a shell because I wasn't sure. I was scared, you know. And I think by day 2, I became more comfortable because I ended up making friends with people that we were having dinner with. And then you kind of settled in. Okay. You know, you get used to it and you just go with the flow. And that's what I did. I was like, okay, let me just let loose and enjoy it for what it is.
Right.
I was really surprised because it was something different from what I expected. I honestly expected it to be boring. Okay. It was nothing but boring. It wasn't boring. It wasn't boring at all. It was actually a completely different experience for me. And I was like, I could get used to this. Okay. Because I think for me, it was like, you know, I love talking. And I made so many friends on the cruise. Okay. Just talking to other South Africans. Right. You know, I always tell people, like, you know, people always say that, oh, our South Africans really united, blah, blah, blah. Go on a cruise. Yeah. That's when you'll see South Africans coming together. Okay. It is such a vibe.
So on these cruises that are from South Africa, and obviously they port most popular is obviously the one that leaves from Durban, right? So I always have the perception that my perception is that there's generally South Africans on these cruises. Are there other people also on these cruises from South Africa? Or like, you've been on a few now, so.
Yeah, so obviously when the ship comes into South Africa, it normally comes full, right? They have guests.
Oh, okay.
And these are international guests that cruise to South Africa from Italy or wherever the ship is leaving, right?
Okay. Right.
So they come to South Africa and then obviously they disembark here and enjoy South Africa or take a flight back home.
All right.
You do get a mix, but majority of the time, if you're doing the local cruises from here to Mozambique, it's mainly
South African.
It's mainly South Africans. Okay. But if you take the cruise from here to go overseas, it's a mix. And then coming from overseas here, it's a mix.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So you've obviously done a few of these cruises. You've done themed and just like regular ones. Which ones do you prefer? I know you did a Bhangra one.
Oh, yes. I wanted to try the different types of cruises because obviously they offer something different, right? Okay. You have your typical cruise where there's just a set entertainment and it is what it is. Yeah. And then you have the theme cruises, which is one level up. You know, you have like the 80s and 90s, as you mentioned. I see that. The Bhangra. Yes. There's a kiddies cruise as well that's coming up in December. So these have...
Sorry, and these are all with MSC?
Yes.
Okay, right.
So these have like very selected entertainment. It's niched, right? Okay. They focus... It's on like there's a Mikasa cruise coming up, which is around friendship. Okay. So, you know.
Oh, yes, I think I saw that.
Yes, so it's very themed and you kind of know what to expect because of what you're booking. Like obviously the Bhangra boat, you know, it's Bollywood music. Okay. You dress up in your Bollywood attire. You know, there's a bunch of DJs and you just basically party. For me, it's like a big party. Where the regular cruises are a bit different. You know, and the kids cruise, obviously they focus on entertainment for the kids. The kids are the priority of the cruise. You know, how do we make it exciting for kiddies on deck or the different entertainment activities for them? So honestly, I prefer the themed cruises if I want to go and party and, you know, let loose a little bit.
Okay, right.
But if I wanted to relax and just enjoy, I prefer the normal.
Like a regular one. Okay. So for you said it now in the very beginning, right? Obviously, there's a misconception. I think people understand these ships to be like those little floating cities, and you know, obviously, some of the ones that we see a lot of, the regular cruises, the MSCs, the whatever, I can't remember any of the names now, Splendida, whatever, and then you've seen these really massive ones that have like 20 restaurants on board and slides and all these kind of things. Like, what your misconception was that it was for older people, and that's obviously been debunked as far as you're concerned, right? You would suggest that families consider cruises?
I think so much have changed in the cruise industry, like from back in the day. Also how these cruise liners are now marketing it, right? When I went, like I think my first cruise, yes, there was a lot of older folks, but that changed over the years. And I think that has to do also with the entertainment they have on board or the activities that they offer. Right. So no, it's definitely not for older folks. It's for anyone and like everyone, because there is actually something to do for anyone and everyone, right? Yeah. It is a floating city. Yeah. And some of these cruise ships are absolutely stunning. Like, you'll forget that you're at sea. And not on land. So it is such an experience. But what I enjoy about it is that it brings strangers together, you know, of all different age groups. Yeah. No matter who you are, what you do, when you're on the cruise, you become family because you spend a long time together and friends. And, you know, there's a few scenarios or incidents like, I think every cruise that I've been on, you know, when you go to the island and come back, there's like these mini boats that bring you back to the main ship. Yes. You will hear South Africans singing.
Okay.
And it's from Afrikaans songs to Zulu songs. Right. Everyone gets together and they sing.
Okay.
Because, you know, they had such a ball on the island and now they're coming back to the ship and they just unite. That's what I love about it.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. It's like different age groups just coming together and having fun.
And having a good time. Okay. I like that. I might consider it.
You will after this.
So tell me, with so much of activity, there's obviously a lot to do, whether it's the kids, whether it's you're into, because I know a friend of mine also does stand-up. So he's done, he's done those cruises where he's the entertainment, essentially. Yeah. So there's a lot of entertainment on board. So how do you balance sort of taking in all of the activities that are available to you and actually relaxing? But I guess you did say that in the beginning, it depends what you're looking for. If you want relaxation, but if you're on a boat, like, how do you find the downtime? Because it can sometimes be a lot.
Sure. So obviously now, if you're looking at a themed cruise and if you're going for like a party cruise, the deck is where the parties are always happening, right? Okay. So one of my tips is always look at where your cabin is or try and book your cabin. You do have an option to choose the cabin that you want. Right. Have a look at the ship and the layout of the ship and see, where would work for me? Because obviously, depending on where your cabin is, it depends on the noise that you hear from the deck, right? Okay. So that's important for me, is where my cabin is based. And I tend to always do the balcony cabin because that's the way I switch off and have my me time. Okay, right. It's just the ocean and me. I love that. And I do that. But there is certain parts of the ship where it's actually really quiet. Some of the ships even have a library. Oh. Where you can go and enjoy a good book and just chill.
And just like really switch off.
So there is spots that you can switch off if you don't want to do the whole party scene. They even have like karaoke bars that are more chilled. Right. It's not always the party scenes. Like if you go on a typical cruise, your evenings are more party vibes, right? Yes. Yeah. You would go for a show. Yeah. And then afterwards, maybe they'd have a party on deck. I mean, some of them even have nightclubs. Yes. So you could go to like 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. Right. They even have bingo.
Okay, right. That's old people.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? They have bingo. They have like general knowledge games. Right. They have some other fun games in the different lounges, etc. So if you don't like the party vibe, you could literally just go and do that. Yeah. You choose how you want to do your cruise. Okay. Yeah. All right. Which I feel like is very exciting because you can switch so quickly.
Because every day can be different then.
100%.
Okay. So let's talk planning, right? It's me. First time I want to go on a cruise. What are the steps that I need to take? I know it's very simple. You can literally go onto the website itself and book it. But what advice would you give for a first timer?
So first and the most important thing is, if you don't have a passport, please get that.
I know it seems very obvious for us because I know even it was so funny. We were thinking of going to Mozambique and my husband's like, we need a passport for that, right? I'm like, yes. Crossing our border. Yeah. He's like, no, I know, but like, I'm just checking. Well, sometimes we forget because we just think, oh, it's just here.
No, 100%.
Like, even Swaziland, it's like, it's a neighbor. So, yeah.
So there is cruises to nowhere where you don't need a passport.
Because you're not disembarking.
Yeah. Right. So you'll just have your ID and that's fine. Okay. But if you go into Mozambique, which is like 90% of the cruises from MSC to Mozambique, is you need a passport, right? And what I've realized or what I've picked up is a lot of people leave that for last minute. Like I have a friend who wants to go on a cruise but hasn't renewed the passport and trying to do that now and can't get a booking.
Yes, because it's at this time of the year.
So I would make sure you do that like months in advance because people do get turned away if you don't have your passport, right? Get that in order. Right. And then also think about the type of cruise that you want to go on. So our cruise season starts in November, which is this month, end of this month, until April, right? And then between March and April, the ship normally goes to Cape Town for the last leg of the season. Okay. So you could choose what cruise you want to do, whether you want to do a weekend cruise, a week cruise, or do the Christmas or New Year cruise. Okay. So, the New Year cruise, it goes to Mauritius. It's like 14 days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what's a week? Because obviously those 2 and 3, those like shorter ones, 3 days, 4 days, those ones are generally the ones that go to Mozambique.
Yes.
Right. So 1 week, where are you going?
So for 40 nights, you go to Mauritius and back. And I think there's like a 2 island stop.
Okay.
So it's not just Mauritius only. It's like a few stops.
Right.
And then you come back, and that alone is an experience because they really put a lot of effort into their Christmas and New Year's, where the entire ship is decorated, for the festive season. It's a different menu. Everything is different about that cruise, right?
Okay.
So if you're a beginner, I recommend doing the local cruise with just Mozambique.
Right.
So you could test the waters, literally.
Okay.
To see if this is something for you. Because I know you mentioned you worried about seasickness, right?
Yes.
And I was also worried if I would get sick. I didn't, which was great. But, you can buy medication at Clicks just to carry on if you can. They do advise you to take it like on the first day or so. But it's really not that bad. It doesn't rock too much.
Okay.
It depends on how fast, the ship is going, obviously. Yes. But I've never had an experience where I threw up or anything like that. So I would start with the shorter cruises and get used to it before, you jump in and do the longer cruises. But also look online for specials. Okay. Because, first time cruiser, you don't know what to expect. You don't know the cost. Get an idea of the cost. Look for good deals because they do come across. And work your way there. I think knowledge is power, especially when it comes to cruising, because a lot of people have these misconceptions or are scared.
Yes.
So educate yourself, but also once you book that cruise, just let it be. Like be spontaneous and live in the moment. Because it's kind of different. You can't really control everything. You're literally at sea. You can't go anywhere.
On this boat with all these people and it is what it is. Right? Okay, cool. So obviously, cruises are marketed as all-inclusive, but there are some additional things, additional costs that obviously creep up. I know drinks and things like that. So just explain to people who obviously don't know anything, how does it all work? So what is the cost actually? If you go like on a 3 or 4 day cruise, how much would that cost per person roughly? And what are these extra costs that you're looking at? And what must you do? What mustn't you do? Just that kind of thing.
Okay, so it's important to know that you have a cruise fee and then you have port fees, right? Okay. When you do book online, they will calculate including the port fees and travel insurance, which is a must. Okay. Roughly, you could spend around 16K for 2 people. Okay. Depending on the cabin, it could go a little bit more, but like a balcony cabin, you could get away with that, right? Okay. Depending on the special. Now, me personally, I always prefer the balcony cabin because I love the ocean. Right. I wouldn't do any of the other ones. Yeah.
So you say it's worth it to splurge then on a balcony?
100%. Okay. Especially if you go in for the first time. Okay. Right. So the first time I went, I did the inside cabin. You can't see anything. Yeah, because it's just a room.
It's like a room.
Yeah, and it's really small. So obviously, the more you spend, the better cabins you get. But realistically, a cabin is small. Yeah.
And there's no window, right? Obviously.
Yes, the inside cabin, there's no windows, nothing. Yeah. Then you have one with partial sea view, which has a little window, and you can see the water, right?
Right.
But the balcony is the best experience. Right. For me, I think it's so worth it because you get the fresh breeze and, like if you're claustrophobic or anything like that, it just helps. Okay. So that's one. You have to think about the cabin, and depending on the cabin you choose would determine the price, right? So you normally pay for 2 people in one cabin.
Right.
So that's the first step. The second one is you talked about drinks, right? So your food is inclusive, right?
So even those specialty restaurants that are on there?
Not specialty. Okay. So specialty, you would have to pay separate. Okay. Because this is more like experiences. Okay. So, you go in for like a 3-course meal, whatever. Okay. Very different menu, very niche, right? Where the other food is like, they do have restaurants where you go for dinner, you could go for breakfast as well. Yeah. And then they have a buffet area.
Okay.
Now, this is all inclusive. Yes. And it's all day. You could eat up until like 2 a.m. in the morning.
So you could go in At any time. So
anytime.
So if you go for dinner and 2 hours later you're hungry, you can go back again.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have obviously you have your sit down dinner, which is more of a formal setting.
Right.
People get really dressed for this in, the evening wear, suits, etc. Bring out your heels.
Okay.
You do that, which is like a 3-course. But even if you have like a starter and you're like, oh, I think I actually want another portion.
Yeah.
They would give it to you. They're not like very strict on like, this is how much you need to eat, right? But if you're like, oh, I'm not really feeling this food, you can go to the buffet.
Okay.
Now the buffet has everything from like burgers to pizza to curries.
Okay.
I saw baboti there once, like
okay.
Yeah. So you have like salads and pastas,
Yes.
desserts as well. And I mean, this is open to like 2 a.m. in the morning. So like after 12, they normally have pizzas.
Okay.
And you could eat as much as you want. So that's the nice thing about cruising is that food part is inclusive,
right,
and you can eat all day. Like
if you wanted.
Yeah, really, right? Then obviously it's the drinks. So you do get like water.
Cool drink, water, tea, coffee.
So they do have like water, coffee and tea stations.
Right.
And you get like apple juice and stuff that is free, complimentary.
Right.
But if you want the fancy stuff, so if you want a really good cappuccino or a bottled water, or if you want alcohol, that's when you're going to have to pay for it.
Even a cappuccino.
A good cappuccino, yeah. You're going to have to pay for it.
Okay.
So they have like alcoholic packages, non-alcoholic packages, and then they have like a ice cream package, if you want that. So I always tend to get a mix of the packages because I love a good cup of coffee as well.
We're not gonna, deprive ourselves of our little luxuries, isn't it?
Exactly. So that's where the money's going to come out is for the drinks. And then if you are planning on doing any activities on the island, like snorkeling or just a tour and stuff, you would need to pay for your activities. Yeah.
Right. And then Wi-Fi.
Yes. So Wi-Fi, you do have different packages. This is always debatable though, because if you're going for a holiday, do you really want to be online? But obviously people want to contact people at home or if they have kids at home, etc. There is Wi-Fi packages available. You can get like the basic one, which connects you to WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And obviously while you're in South Africa, you will still get network. Right. I did pick up network in Mozambique. With my network for a little bit. But yeah, it is available and the network is quite good, but don't expect it to be super fast.
Yeah. We just need basic things just in case of emergency.
So that's all separate that you would need to add to your cruise experience.
Okay. And then for like a drinks package, it's like what, a couple $1,000?
So it's around 1,000 something for an alcoholic drinks package. And it has like 20 alcoholic drinks.
Okay. The duration of your trip.
Yes. So obviously the rates change every season. So yeah, I wouldn't want to give the correct pricing now because it's going to change.
People can always go.
But yes, it is available online. I have tons of videos on my TikTok about this.
I've seen it. So obviously as far as you're concerned, your advice is to take a drinks package. Don't try and spend when you're there, because every time you feel like having something, you're paying in dollars, right?
Exactly that. And I think that's where a lot of people get shocked, or when the bill comes and they're like, what? Because guys, we're paying in dollars. You're in international waters.
So unfair.
Everything is dollars.
So unfair.
And our exchange rate.
Yes. We have a love-hate relationship with it.
Exactly. Yeah. So that is why I recommend, especially as a first timer, because you're not sure what to expect, right? You could be on the cruise and the exchange rate changes.
Yes.
And then your
budget's
gone.
Yeah.
So I always say, get everything booked before you embark on that ship, right? So you know what you're getting yourself into. Because if you're a spontaneous person like me, you end up just swiping that cruise card.
You're on holiday. You're in that spirit. So you're like, let's.
And then you just see like $5. You're like, it's just $5. Not doing the calculation of what exactly is $5. And there has been, scenarios of kids abusing the cruise cards, right?
Of course.
Because if you're taking kids, they have cruise cards as well, which is linked to your account.
Oh. Okay.
And I've heard some really scary stories on that. So I would say book everything in advance, all your packages, so you know what's your limit. If you do want to buy like, maybe a bottle of alcohol or a pack of beer or whatever, you can still do that on board, and you could pay towards the end of your cruise. But at least you have an idea of what you're spending and what you're getting yourself into in South African rands before getting into the dollars.
Right. That's true. Because then sometimes people can go a bit wild.
No, you can.
You're feeling a bit festive.
Exactly. And it's just a cruise card. Just swipe.
Okay, cool. So now we've booked and now we're about to leave. What are some sort of practical tips to give you sort of a stress-free day when you're leaving? Like, what are the steps? What are the things that you need to do?
So if you come in from Johannesburg, like me, going to Durban, I would recommend...
Oh, sorry. And if you're not leaving from Durban, you have to fly yourself to Durban, right?
Yes, you have to fly yourself.
Additional cost.
Yes, that's an additional cost. So always look for those good flight deals.
Right.
They do have packages now. If you book via a travel agent, they could do everything for you, right? So you don't have to do so much of admin, which a lot of people appreciate. Me personally, I'm a control freak, so I like to plan everything.
I'm the same, so I understand.
So I book my flights. I normally fly to Durban a day before I embark, just in case, to kind of like chill a bit, etc. Because you don't want to fly on the day and then your flight is delayed and then you're a bit of a pickle, right? So try and get as early or get the super early morning flight to Durban. MSC does have parking at the harbour. That if you're driving down or you're taking a car, you could
park there.
You could park there.
Good to know as well.
Last year it was around 140 Rand per day.
Okay, that's actually not bad.
Might have gone up a little bit this year, but that's available, right? Or the other option is you could get the MSC shuttle from the airport, which you book. This is an extra cost, but there's someone that takes you directly from the airport to the harbour. Okay, so that's that option.
Right. If you're late, they will leave you. No one's waiting for you, right?
No one waits for you, darling.
Right.
There has been situations where people were left behind.
Yes.
Unfortunately, like not everyone does Indian time. So you got to be on time, right? You do have an embarkation time. When you check in online, you will get a little document that says your embarkation time. I highly encourage people to stick to that time. What normally happens is everyone gets so excited about going on a cruise and everyone wants to be there at 7 a.m., right? If you're there at 7 a.m., the people that were cruising are still on the ship because they normally disembark around 8, 9 a.m. latest, right? So they're still on the ship. No one's going to help you embark at 7 a.m.
And the staff and crew still need to clean up and etc. and get the boat ready for
100%. So stick to your embarkation time and try and go as close as possible to that
time,
so you don't get frustrated and you don't frustrate everyone else around you because trust me, that line can go on and on. And it's most probably because it's not your embarkation time and you're there. Exactly. It would have been much smoother if you stuck to it, right? So you'll always see a queue at the harbour.
Of course, because nobody wants to stick to that time. They all think, okay, I will come early, but that's not your time, right?
Because that's where the queues start, right? So stick to your time. Yeah, stick to your time. You might stand in that queue a bit long, depending if people keep to the time or not.
How long is long?
Well, if you go the time that you're not supposed to be there, you could spend an hour or even longer, right? But I think my quickest one was maybe 20 minutes because obviously you get your passport stamped, etc. You check in your luggage and then you embark. So my first step would be sort your travel arrangements out. If you're traveling in, to Durban, maybe get a hotel that's close by to the harbour as well, and then stick to your check-in time, right? Also, carry a hand luggage with your basics, like, maybe have a spare outfit, sunblock,
brush.
Exactly, because you might get your suitcase a bit later in the afternoon because they have a lot of luggage to go through.
Of course.
Yeah. So you want to get on board and start enjoying the cruise, right? You don't want to like just wait because sometimes your cabin is not necessarily ready the moment you embark because they've just disembarked other guests. So, but you can start enjoying your cruise already. You can go in the pool if you want, the jacuzzi. Carry a bag with all your essentials so you can start enjoying the cruise as soon as you get on the ship.
Right.
And carry a water bottle where you can refill water because they do have water stations throughout just for you, for your family or just to keep in the fridge even. So you have cold water all the time. And then I would say you need a lanyard because you get cruise cards and a lot of people end up losing it.
So you have a little sleeve and then it's
so you keep that immediately as soon as you embark and you can start enjoying all the perks and swipe it for those drink vouchers.
Have your celebrity the English is not Englishing. Have your champagne.
Yes.
Celebrate.
Pop it. but yes, that would be like the basics, I think, of getting started on board. Also remember like your luggage. A lot of people try to sneak alcohol in.
Please share that with us because that is these are very valid questions for South Africans.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You're not allowed to take food and drink.
Realistically, you're not allowed to take alcohol. Right? Because obviously they want you to buy on board, People have tried to smuggle alcohol before and they confiscate it, but you do get it at the end of your cruise. They give it to you back. Shame. They feel sorry for you. Right? So don't try and carry that. I do know that some people may try and carry snacks or whatever. If it's sealed, it's okay, especially if you have kids, and you have fussy eaters or you have allergies and, you have to carry specific things. Please do that. Also, you can get some medication on board, but I would recommend that you also carry your own medication to be safe, right? These things are fine to carry. They do check your suitcases if they do pick up something, but they will do it in front of you when you embark, right? So just stick to the rules. I've carried 5 Roses tea bags before. Never had an issue because I love 5 Roses. I don't like English tea.
And they don't have they always have English breakfast, right?
Yes. I've never had an issue with carrying my tea bags.
Honestly, I also carry tea bags. It's because South African tea is different.
Yes.
I would I don't know how else to explain it, but you know what I mean. English breakfast is definitely not the same. So I get you.
Yeah.
I also travel with our tea. Our 5 Roses, we take it.
Oh, girl, we're so alike. Yeah. Everywhere I go, I carry it. So that's when I feel at home, when I have my nice cup of 5 Roses
tea. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So those are things that you could most probably get away with. I'm not going to say do it because obviously the rules change all the time. But just be cautious about the alcohol thing.
That's a big one. I think that's the one that most people will try and sneak in. And that's
100%. Another thing I do want to chat about, because I did a video of this and it got like 1.1 million views on TikTok. Because people don't realize that, you have a bar in your room.
Yes.
And you're going to get charged for it, guys.
Oh, right.
don't think it's for free.
It's not for free.
It's not for free. And, there's like small bottles of alcohol there and they have snacks. They even have biltong and stuff.
Right.
Please don't take it unless you're willing to pay for it.
So is there normally a sign though?
There is. They do.
That's a thing at hotels and they'll say, this is the price list. Like they'll have a little price list there, so okay, hold on. They do have a price list.
Okay. But I think a lot of people don't really read that.
Attention, yeah.
And then they're like, whoa, I just took like a small bottle and like you're paying ridiculous pricing, right?
Okay. Right.
So that's like a big tip.
Don't have the minibar. Don't touch
that minibar. Don't touch. Yes. Just rather go to the buffet if you want. Because it's danger. It's danger.
Okay. So you're on the ship. What's the vibes like and what's like the first thing that you like to do?
So normally when I get on the ship, obviously I want a drink because you've been standing in that queue.
Right.
And Durban, it's humid.
Especially if it's the end of the year. Yeah.
You're still trying to get used to that. So I normally go onto the deck and, at that stage, People are trying to settle in. Everyone's on deck because they're looking at the harbor. It's a whole vibe with the music.
Yeah.
And the staff is so exciting, right? They love feeding off the guests' energy.
Okay.
And they're all excited because they're meeting so many new people like all the time. So make friends with them. I always make friends with guys at the bar. Yeah. But go for a drink and stay on the deck, because when the ship leaves the harbor, right, there's this, there's the captain that goes back from the harbor that takes a helicopter and leaves. So it's like a whole experience. So if you have kids, you don't want to miss this, because they see how the captain gets on the helicopter and goes. Yeah, it is. So they do like this
production.
It's a theater of
this.
Yeah. Oh my word. So it's such an experience to be on the deck when the ship is leaving the harbor. Okay. So be part of that, because as soon as they start leaving, then the music, the party starts, then right? It starts. So I would say you don't want to miss that experience. Obviously, they have a safety drill that you would need to do.
Pay attention to.
Yes. Right. Very, very important. And they would not move forward or go until that is done and that everybody's checked in and has done it. If you don't, they will call your name on the intercom. So don't be a rebel and think you can get away with it.
Embarrassing, yeah.
They want you to know that you're safe and this is what you need to do in a case of emergency, right? Or where you need to go. Right. Once that is done, trust me, it literally takes a few minutes. Then you back to partying. I mean, the buffet is already open when you get on board, right? Yeah. So you can have lunch or snacks or whatever. And then you decide what you want to do. You've got the pool, you've got the jacuzzi, you've got the bars that have entertainment and activities, or you can go to your cabin and just relax and unwind and get ready for the night. But the first night is try and settle in, don't try and do too much, right? Because you will find an itinerary on your bed in the cabin, which basically gives you all the information that you need to know for the day. They even tell you the weather and what's happening where, because there's so much happening on board, right? At different slots. And then you have dinner, which is later, and you have 2 seatings. Depending on your seating, it'll tell you what time you can go and watch the show. You don't have to do all this.
Everything. You can decide what you want to do. And what kind of stuff is there for kids to do?
So they do have a kiddies room that, has the basics like the puzzles, the blocks,
like a play,
gaming, etc. like that. They have something for teenagers as well. And then they plan daily activities with the kids. And like little competitions. They even have MSC has like a little mascot for kids to get them excited about cruising and stuff. So they do like, make your own pizza or like different competitions.
And they've got proper childminders,
100%. So that's what I like about these cruises is that they hire professionals. It's not amateur,
right?
Taking care of your kids or just in general. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do and they're qualified in that space, right? And obviously you have to check in your kids and check them out.
Yes. So is there some sort of technology involved there? Is there like a wristband that gets scanned?
They do have a wristband. MSC also has an app that you could potentially connect to. Not sure exactly see where your kids is, but the app basically connects your entire cruise experience, right? So that's just for your cruise experience. Obviously, when you check in your kids, they have their own protocols of how they do things, right? So if you want to go for dinner and you want to leave your kids with the other kids, because sometimes the kids have dinner together. And it's quite cool because they like come into the buffet like all marching and singing.
Cute.
So they make their own friends. And I've seen it before where the teenagers don't want to hang out with the adults.
Yes.
So they have their own area, they have their own parties. It's customized for their age group. Which is quite exciting for them because they don't have to do the boring stuff for the adults.
Right, of course. Have you ever taken the kids with you?
I haven't, but I do want to now.
You've had so many.
I know. I have. Like my daughter's been worrying me. So I think this season, the kids are definitely coming with me because it's going to be a different experience for me as well. Having a teenager and then the younger ones. But I think they're ready now for a cruise. I was a bit nervous on how they would be before because, they're basically stuck on a ship.
Right.
But I think after they've seen all the videos and the excitement behind it, they're ready now. Okay. Yeah, but also I'm going to trial them out with the short cruise.
Okay.
Before taking them on a longer one.
Okay. So the cruises normally, so the ones that disembark somewhere, so Portuguese islands, what kind of activities do they generally have on the island? When you and it's normally for like a day, isn't it? Like a few hours in the day. Yeah.
So here's a good tip for you. They would normally have a ticketing process where they would say, okay, we're going to the island tomorrow, weather dependent, obviously, and you will need to come down and collect a number.
Okay.
My tip is wake up super early on the day that you go into the island.
Yeah.
Go down to reception and get that ticket, right?
Okay.
Because you get like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
And that's depending on when you go. It's first come, first serve.
Of course.
And when you will actually leave for the island.
They group people?
Yes.
At times, just for control?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you must remember the staff also has to take all the food to the island because they cater for you on the island. So there's a lot of logistics going to this. My advice would be wake up super early. Have a early breakfast, like at 6 a.m. You get your tag. So you're one of the first people out of the ship, right? It's quite an easy process to go through. And then once you're on the island, I find the best time to enjoy the island is in the morning because it's not too hot. Okay. Mozambique is like, it gets really hot.
In the summer. Okay.
And the sand is like stinging.
Oh,
so I don't want to be there when it's like midday.
Okay, right.
So be one of the first people to leave.
Yeah.
And when you're there, it's like quite cool. You can get your spot. So also, if you want to buy like a sunbed, to hire it out for the day, whatever.
There's another extra cost.
That's a cost, right? If you want to get the super fancy places.
Yes.
But there is other seating available.
Okay.
It's first come, first serve.
Right.
Now us South Africans, we have a thing where we keep place for people.
Yes.
Put a towel there, a bag.
Can't do that.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, people still do it, but I advise you not to do it because
you're gonna piss people off.
Yeah, people fight for this. But go there early so you get your nice spot, and then you don't have to end up fighting for a spot. You know,
or think ahead and say, okay, if I'm gonna spend a little bit of money for a particular spot, umbrella, shade, cabana, whatever it is.
Yes.
Then
go for that.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So pay for that extra, seating, etc., where you know it will be saved no matter what time you come through, right? But if you're not going to do that and you're going to be stingy like me, just go early, get a nice spot.
Make the most of it.
Exactly. And enjoy the water early in the morning, right? Because before midday, it gets super hot on the island.
Okay.
And it becomes miserable.
All right.
Remember, they do also have times where they go back to the ship.
Right.
So it's not like whenever you want to you got to wait a little bit because of the logistics. Right. So that would be my advice. Obviously, they do provide food on the island, which you do not have to pay for. It's part of your package. Yeah. It's the same buffet. Sometimes they have like rye barbecue kind of Italian barbecue feel.
Okay, never had an Italian barbecue. But okay.
Well, it's South African, but you get where I'm going with this. So that is provided. Obviously, you use your drink vouchers if need be, or you drink what's available. Okay. They also have the locals that sell stuff, right?
Okay, of course. So like a little market.
Exactly. Okay. So you can support the locals. You can carry South African rands.
Okay.
And use cash to pay for the locals. Okay. So that's an experience on its own where you could decide, am I just going to chill at the beach and enjoy the market and, just the water? Or do I want to go a bit extreme and do some water sports or do like an activity, right? So they do have a lot of water sports. They have like a tour of the island and stuff. Okay. If you're doing that, obviously that's a separate cost. And then there's a time slot for that.
All right.
So depending on that also is when you would need to decide when you need to go onto the island. Right. So a bit of logistics behind it, but you don't need to do any activities if you don't want to.
And if you don't want to leave the ship you don't have to.
I actually, that's what I did on my last cruise.
Yeah, because then it's a little bit quieter on the ship and then you can...
That's actually the best time to be on the ship.
Yeah.
Because you literally have the entire ship to yourself.
Right.
The jacuzzi, the pool.
Yeah. So use that opportunity if you don't want to.
Yeah, it's quiet. So you can decide how you want to do the cruise.
Right. But obviously, first time,
I would do a bit of water activities like the snorkeling and stuff, to say you did something and then test it out and see, if you want to do more. Obviously, people do book other activities that's outside of what MSC offers. But if you do that, just be wary of times.
Okay.
Because obviously, once everybody is embarked, the ship is going to leave. They don't want to wait for people.
We're not waiting for anyone. Oh, don't get lost.
Don't get lost.
Okay. Right. So let's talk food, right? Because I know for you, food is important. And I noticed that you've also mentioned in one or two, maybe more of your videos, that the food, while there's a lot of options and it's okay, it wasn't really to your liking, right? It could be better. But of course, with that large quantity, you know, servicing thousands of people, sometimes quality control, etc., can be difficult, or, you know, making really amazing meals can be difficult. So, and you've been honest about it. So honestly, what is the food experience like? Because I know while there's quantity, are we going to really, and you know, the South African palate is so specific. We like nice things. Oh, we like tasty food.
We like spice.
We like spice. We like flavor. So yeah.
Okay.
The buffet versus the specialty stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about it. So the last cruise that I went for was on the Spendita, and they had specialty restaurants. The specialty one I really enjoyed. They had like an Asian one. They had a steakhouse, which was really good because they had specialty chefs there that made that food. So you could see there's a little bit more love, care, quality control on it to make sure, because you're paying for it, right? Has to be the best of the best. Right. So I enjoyed that, which surprised me a little bit because, as I mentioned in my previous videos, I have mixed feelings. Yeah. I am a fussy eater.
Okay.
You know, and dessert is I love desserts. Yes, it's my weakness, but I'm very fussy about my desserts. I always tell people, don't go on a cruise expecting 5-star food.
Right.
Because you're not going to get that. Okay. You're going to be so disappointed, but you will get food, right?
You won't be hungry.
Yes, you won't be hungry, but it's not a food experience per se. You go in there for the cruise, you know, not food. Right. So in the buffet, like you have your burgers and stuff, which is normal. Yeah. It works. Yeah, it works, right? Then they have curries and pastas and stuff. It always depends on the chef that's on board. Okay. Because sometimes you have really good food. Like I had a really good curry. Okay. And I was like surprised because you don't get that often. Yes. And then only to find out, obviously the chef is Indian. Okay. So he made the curry. You know. So they have chefs from all over the world. Okay. And obviously it's not going to be applicable always to the South African palate. Right. But they do try. They do incorporate South African dishes from time to time. Yeah, so you will find some.
Like you said, the bobotie.
Yeah.
I'd like to know which South Africans eat bobotie. Please let us know, because people think of it as our national dish, but I'm not a fan.
No, me either. You would find, I think once I found chakalaka maybe. So they do try and, you know, cater for the South African market. But yeah, for me, it's average. It's average. The specialty restaurants, they do put a little bit more effort into it. Yeah. The sit-down restaurant, I'll be honest with you, it's not my favorite.
Okay.
And you've
got to pay extra for that.
No. So the sit-down, the formal dinner that they have, that's included.
Oh, that's included, right.
But it's not my favorite. I prefer the buffet. I feel like the buffet has more tasty food than that. Interesting. Yeah. But I mean, you know, they have the sauce. They even had Nando's sauce once.
Oh, good. Oh,
I saw it and I was like, wow.
South African. So I was going to ask about dress code, but obviously you touched on that if you have those sit-down dinners, then people can dress up, right? So you should try and pack like summery, light things, but then also pack something nice so that one night you can have like feel a bit fancy and go out to dinner. So
on a typical cruise, a non-themed cruise, they do have like a sail away party where sometimes they'll tell you to dress up in white or in a touch of white. Or when they leave Mozambique that night, they do have a big party as well that is more tropical feel. Okay. So it's a tropical theme. So, you know, think flowers, bright colors. I mean, people really dress up for that. You know, so tropical is one consistent theme that I've seen throughout on all the cruises. You know, so really dress up for that. Maybe carry something white. Then they do have obviously the formal dinners where people really dress up in their formal way. They have, on the last night, they do like a little Italian theme in the main dining rooms.
Okay.
You know, it's quite cool because all the staff come together, they sing and dance.
Okay, so it's a nice vibe.
Yeah, because they're saying goodbye to you.
Right.
You know, so they
like a little farewell dinner.
Yeah, so they go out with Italian colors as well, like all over the dining room.
Okay.
So you can even dress up for that. So I would say if you don't have to dress up, but it's nice to dress up, you know, for dinner. So carry a bit of like formal or smart casual for dinner, carry those heels. In the main dining room, you cannot wear swimwear or flops, you know, even at the buffet, they'd like you to dress up decently. But in the buffet, you could wear anything like shorts or t-shirt. You're fine, right? Carry light clothing because we do know that Mozambique is very hot and, you know, you get sticky. On the cruise itself, like it gets really hot on deck.
Okay.
I prefer to carry more shorts than dresses because sometimes it does get windy.
Okay.
And you don't want to be in awkward situations.
Right, I get you.
So I'm a shorts girl. Carry comfortable shoes.
Right.
You can carry sandals, but you know, sometimes the deck may be slippery. So just, you know, try and carry a nice pair of tackies if you can. Definitely carry a hoodie or a nice jacket because
it's windy.
But there's air cons, you know, around and it's like sometimes it gets really cold. Right. So you definitely need to carry a good jacket for that.
Okay.
But I mean, it's all like spring, summer vibes and dress up a little.
Okay. Have fun with it. Right?
Yeah.
So look at that. It's like an hour. So you said, so you are planning on taking the kids. Are you cruising now this festive
season? I am cruising this season. I'm going to go to Mozambique again.
Okay,
I do plan on doing most probably the 4-day cruise. I do want to do the New Year's cruise. So maybe next season, I'm going to plan for that.
Right.
I don't know when I'm cruising this season yet because I'm a bit spontaneous and haven't really planned anything, but I know I'm going.
Okay, good. And the kids are coming.
The kids are going with.
I'm excited.
So it's going to be a whole different experience for me, which I'm excited to share more about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun cruise season.
Yeah.
Cruising in South Africa is always a vibe.
Okay.
I highly recommend people, if you didn't book your cruise yet, go and do it. If you want a quiet time, choose between Feb and March. Because December and Jan is just pure party vibes.
It's peak. Yeah. Okay. I get that. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. I wish we had more time. But that was very informative. And as always, you know, we'll link everything in the caption of the video so that people can come and have a look. You've got quite a nice list of, on her TikTok page, she's got lots of videos. So you can go have a look there. And see all of this information and, of course, look for yourself on the website. So we'll link that as well so that you can go have a look. But thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And we're going to keep an eye on your social media and we're going to see what this season of cruising.
And I'll see you next season on board.
Definitely. Well, yeah, maybe.
Next season.
I'm a little bit more interested now.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel, anyway, yes. So thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Curated Wonder, the Travel Podcast. Of course, you can find us on Spotify as well. Do follow us on social media, like and subscribe and all of those wonderful things. And thank you. And we'll see you for our next episode.